Let me start by saying this out loud. Love, true love, cannot exist without boundaries. That moment when you realize this feels both freeing and frightening. Because for many of us, boundaries were once mistaken for rejection or control or even selfishness. But the truth is, boundaries are not walls that keep love out. They're the sacred lines that keep love alive. I remember the first time I understood this, it wasn't in a classroom or through a book, but in a quiet heartbreak that taught me what self abandonment really felt like. I kept saying yes to conversations that drained me, to demands that left me breathless, to people who didn't know how to hold my energy with care. I thought I was being kind, I thought I was being loving, but underneath, I was slowly disappearing. And I realized what I was really doing was giving away my sacred energy. It's such a subtle erosion, isn't it? You tell yourself, well, it's okay, it's not that big of a deal. You convince yourself that being accommodating makes you good, that love means always being available. But every time you override your inner no, you teach your heart that its voice doesn't matter. And every time you betray your own limits, you invite the world to do the same. Not only that, it also manifests in your physical body. When I was in a relationship in which I ignored all my needs and only wanted to please him and earn his love, my shoulder pain went from slight discomfort to extreme pain in short 6 months. And it wasn't until I learned to release all the trapped emotions that were lodging in my shoulder after the breakup that my shoulder started healing. As a matter of fact, in just short few weeks. There's a quiet ache that comes from living without boundaries. It's the ache of being unseen, unheard, and unprotected in your own life until one day something in you whispers, no more. That whisper is sacred. It's the voice of your higher self remembering that love must begin within. Boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges between your inner peace and the world you wish to build. They help you stay open without being overwhelmed, loving without losing yourself, generous without becoming depleted. They're the invisible architecture that allows your heart to stay soft without being shattered. And that's why it's such an important step while we learn how to safely unlock our hearts. When you start honoring your boundaries, something profound happens. You begin to reclaim your energy. You start noticing when a conversation leaves you feeling nourished versus numb. You notice when your body tightens as someone crosses an unseen line. You notice the difference between giving from overflow and giving from emptiness. Awareness becomes your compass. Your energetic boundary begins there. But here's what most people miss: boundaries aren't meant to be built from fear, they're meant to be rooted in love. When boundaries come from fear, they sound like, well, I have to protect myself because people can't be trusted. But when they come from love, they sound like this: I honor myself enough to stay true to my energy, and I trust others to meet me there. Love based boundaries don't close doors, they open space for mutual respect, safety, and authenticity. They invite relationships to evolve or dissolve in truth. And sometimes that's the hardest part. Because living with sacred boundaries means accepting that not everyone will understand them. Some will resist, some will test, some will fade away. And that's okay, because your boundaries will filter what doesn't align with your peace. Every soul who cannot meet you in that new vibration simply makes room for those who can. And those who stay, they meet the real you, not the version who bends to be loved, but the one who stands in love. So, how do you begin to create sacred boundaries that protect your peace? It starts with a powerful question: what does peace feel like in my body? You see, peace isn't just an idea, it's a felt sense. When you are at peace, your breath softens, your shoulders drop, your heart feels open yet grounded. Your body always knows when something is off. When a boundary has been crossed, you feel it in your gut, your chest, your breath. That's your inner compass calling you back to alignment. So next time you feel drained or resentful, pause. Ask yourself, what boundary wants to be honored here? It might be time, space, energy, emotional labor, or communication. You might not even need to say it out loud at first. Sometimes just acknowledging it within yourself is enough to begin shifting the energy. And when you do express it, do it with love, not defense. You can say, I really value our connection, and I've realized I need a bit more space to recharge. Or, I want to give you my best, and that means I need time to rest before we talk. Boundaries spoken from the heart don't wound, they clarify. Because sacred boundaries are not about controlling others, they're about aligning yourself. When you live in alignment, you radiate clarity. You teach others how to treat you, not by demanding it, but by embodying it. Your energy becomes unmistakable. People can feel when you're rooted in self respect and they respond accordingly. But I want to acknowledge something real here. Honoring your boundaries will sometimes feel lonely at first. You will miss the comfort of old patterns, even the ones that hurt you. You'll question whether you're being too much, too cold, too selfish. That's okay. Healing often feels like loneliness before it feels like liberation. Because the old identity, the one who overgave, overexplained, overextended, is dissolving. And something new, truer, and freer is taking its place. You're learning that love and self betrayal cannot coexist, that peace requires protection, that compassion without clarity becomes chaos. And in time, you'll see the beauty of it all. How every no you speak from love becomes an act of devotion to your soul. How every boundary honored becomes a quiet declaration: I am sacred too. I want you to imagine your energy like a garden. Each boundary you set is a fence, not to keep people out, but to protect what's growing within. You tend to it with love, water it with presence, prune what no longer serves, and invite others to walk through the gate with respect. That's how your peace flourishes, not from isolation, but from intention. I have a guided meditation that guides you to nurture your own garden of self love. Feel free to check it out if you're interested. I'll leave the link in the description box below. And when you live this way, you begin to embody a new kind of strength, the kind that's soft but unshakable. You no longer react from wounds, you respond from wisdom. You no longer chase validation, you live from wholeness. You become the guardian of your own energy. And that's one of the most loving acts you can offer the world. Because a peaceful person is a powerful person, and a peaceful heart radiates healing far beyond itself. Your boundaries become medicine, teaching others that love does not demand sacrifice of self. They remind those around you that respect and kindness are not negotiable, but natural expressions of conscious love. And maybe that's the greatest ripple effect of all, when your peace becomes permission for others to protect theirs. So, as you move forward, I invite you to reflect on this. Where in your life are you ready to honor the boundary that love has been whispering for a while? Where do you need to stop shrinking, overextending, or apologizing for your needs? And can you begin today? Not with guilt, but with grace. Remember, every time you say yes to your peace, You say yes to your purpose. Every time you honor your truth, you strengthen your light. And every time you protect your energy with love, you open your heart a little wider, not just for yourself, but for the whole world. Boundaries are not the end of love, they are where real love begins. So today, hold your heart with tenderness. Let your no be sacred. Let your yes be wholehearted. And know that in doing so, you are protecting something precious, your peace, your energy, your divine essence. Because you're not here to curate everything. You're here to be everything that you already are, radiant, whole, and at peace in your own sacred space.